Hello. Today we are going to talk about yield farming. So, a quick disclaimer, this is not financial advice. Yield farming is high risk, and in my opinion, the real value of crypto comes from the lessons we learn along the way. That is to say, chase knowledge, not these sick gains. So, what is yield farming? Yield farming is the act of earning interest on your digital assets by lending them to some economic purpose, also known as liquidity mining or liquidity providing, or LP for short. So is that like using a bank? Yes, but without using a bank. So first, let's talk about CeFi and DeFi. CeFi stands for centralized finance, the legacy nation-state-backed fiat-based financial system that we all know today. It is home of Uncle Sam's Boomer Bucks, aka the US dollar. Alternatively, we have DeFi, stands for decentralized finance, a parallel open global financial system that exists outside of the legacy financial system, also known as open finance. DeFi is attempting to replace every financial tool in the modern banking system. Payments, lending, borrowing, exchanging, custodianship, interest generation, wealth management, monetary policy, and money. All of this now exists in some form or another within DeFi. But why do we need another financial system? Me, Mom, can we have a new financial system? Mom, no, there is a financial system at home. But at home, we have the money printer, we have negative interest rates, we have the big debt crises and the financial crisis of 2008. Most recently, we have all-time high student loans, food stamps, federal debt, money printing, health insurance cost, an all-time low labor force participation, workers' share of the economy, median family income, and home ownership. DeFi obviously won't solve all of this, but it's safe to say we have some room for improvement. So why DeFi? As humans continue to scale, we need newer, more trustless ways to coordinate economically and innovate our financial system openly. DeFi introduces a set of financial protocols known as automated market makers, or AMMs, to facilitate all the necessary money verbs without third parties like banks. But today, we only have time to talk about earning. So back to yield farming, the act of earning interest on your digital assets by lending them to some economic purpose. We're going to go through a quick yield farming demo. So first step, we need to exchange some US dollar for ETH. We're going to use Coinbase for this. There are many different exchanges that you can go with, but ultimately owning ETH is a necessary step to interact with DeFi as it is used to pay transaction fees each step of the way. So I've just bought $200 worth of ETH. And our next step is to set up a wallet. I already have MetaMask set up. You can also go with Argent for a mobile wallet, and the Ledger X is my favorite hardware wallet. Regardless of the wallet you choose, though, learn about custody. Most wallets will have you write down a seed phrase, write this down on pen and paper, and put it in your safe. Do not lose this. Your seed phrase can be used to regenerate your wallet if you ever lose your device. Do not take a picture of your seed phrase unless you would like to lose all of your money the next time that iCloud gets hacked. So now that we have $200 worth of ETH, let's go ahead and send that ETH to our wallet. So we'll click send. We'll type in our $200 worth of ETH. We'll go to the to input. We will copy the address to our new wallet and paste it. And we will click continue and send our wallet $200 worth of ETH. Next, we need to choose our farm. This is a view of the top yield farming pools by market cap. This is a read-only dashboard of the current largest farms by market cap. You may notice some farms from my title slide like SushiSwap. On the right, you'll see the returns. This is the interest generated yearly for these farms. And if we sort by returns, you can find some in the triple and quadruple digit interest rates. I would personally avoid these unless you are interested in having a lot of exposure to very high risk, high volatility assets. So next, there's one particular yield farming aggregate that I'd like to use as a demo called Yearn or Yearn Finance. So first, we'll look at the lifetime stats of Yearn's farms. In this view, we see a list of Yearn's different yield farming strategies, and on the right, we see interest that these have generated since inception around this summer. Vaults are farming strategies that leverage multiple lending, borrowing, and exchanging protocols across many different assets. Alternatively, for the more risk-averse, the Earn tab displays single asset stablecoin pools which peg their value to the US dollar. In this example, I'd like to farm with some DAI because it is a stablecoin that is particularly focused on trust minimization. So next, we need to exchange some of our ETH for some DAI. Uniswap comes in handy here. Uniswap is one of many automated market makers in DeFi. It's a decentralized peer-to-peer alternative to an exchange like Coinbase. The difference is that in the case of Uniswap, trading fees are not captured by a centralized third party like Coinbase. Instead, trading fees are paid back to the network, to people like you and I that decide to provide liquidity to the protocol. Since I happen to be a liquidity provider on the ETH DAI pool, I'm actually paying fees to myself among many others to facilitate this exchange. So now that we have some DAI, let's go ahead and deposit it into Yearn's DAI farm. So we'll click that. Once we have deposited our DAI, Yearn will seek out and continually move our funds to the current highest interest automated market maker in DeFi. So first I need to allow Yearn to spend my DAI. And that is the transaction I am confirming. And then next, I will be prompted for the deposit transaction. Notice the gas fee associated with this action and all other transactions. Pay attention to gas fees as you are yield farming. These fees are paid to Ethereum miners for the work of computing your transaction and placing it on chain. They fluctuate based on the complexity of your transaction, of the farm, and the state of the congestion on the Ethereum network. So finally, you'll see that my DAI has been deposited and is now actively earning interest. When I'm ready to remove my funds, I'll click claim and be prompted with another transaction and fee. It's important to make sure that you include these fees in your calculations. That is to say that it will take me a long time to earn interest back to pay the fees while only farming with 177 DAI, as these interest rates will fluctuate with the market as well. I don't mind taking a hit for the purposes of this demo, but take this into account. Finally, over time, as you begin yield farming and providing liquidity to many different protocols, I recommend a free tool called Zapper.fi. It's a dashboard that will give you a nice visual of where all of your money lives. So I've switched over to a public address demo address to show what this might look like over time. Additionally, Zapper lets you interact directly with farms and condenses all the necessary steps into a single transaction. It even lets you specify an asset of choice regardless of the pool you are entering by exchanging the necessary asset for you. So that's it. You are now a professional yield farmer. But yield farming can get as complicated as you want. This was pretty much me this summer. This rabbit hole can get pretty deep. So learn as much as you feel like and take on as much or as little risk as you feel like. But it is important to first understand the risks. Side effects include bugs, hacks, economic exploits, smart contract risk, flash loan attacks, centralization risk, self-custody risk, liquidation risk, high gas fees, impermanent loss, high volatility exposure. Only farm what you are comfortable losing. Talk to your therapist and ask if yield farming is right for your anxiety. So what exactly is yield farming? Yield farming is a very early glimpse at interest-bearing accounts for a new financial system. Fees are high, the user experience is terrible, and it requires a lot of learning and expertise. But these are all engineering problems with solutions on the horizon. For instance, Ethereum 2.0 Phase 0 launches December 1st. Multiple years in the making. Very exciting. I encourage you to zoom out and see the forest for the trees. Yield farming is a very early glimpse at interest-bearing accounts for a new financial system that is decentralized, trustless, open source, peer-to-peer, non-custodial, publicly auditable, censorship-resistant, global, and baked directly into the architecture of the internet. And I think that's pretty cool. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.